Right now, guys, there is a wave of millions and millions of evictions coming to the doorstep of the United States of America. What does this mean for the tenant, the landlord, and the potential owner finance investor? How does this all coordinate together? What do I think you should be doing going forward? I'm gonna give you my opinion if you are a landlord on why I think you should become an owner finance investor and what this can do for your business going forward. And quickly, I wanna recap on our video we put out just a couple days ago. You do not wanna miss that video, guys. After you watch this one, go check that video out. It's on what's happening in Washington with the CARES Act, the HEALS Act, all the stuff going on, the dates, and really I want to make sure you guys understand what we're seeing here in the United States of America. And then also in this video, I'm going to be digging down deep to why I think landlords or traditional individuals that are investors that rent their property should think seriously about becoming a creative finance investor and owner financing the properties if they take them back. So just a quick recap here, guys. The CARES Act was passed back in March. And in the CARES Act, you had an eviction moratorium on certain types of properties that made up about a third of the rental properties in North America. These are the federally funded backed types of loans, the Fannie and Freddie loans, properties that had Section 8 tenants in them. So any of the properties that had some type of government funding were inside this CARES Act, and it put a moratorium on evictions, meaning the landlord could not evict the tenant up until late July. I think it was the 25th that this was lifted, just a week ago. Now, right now, there's talks in Washington to extend this inside of what's called the HEALS Act, but there's some controversy over this. Will this be included in this or will it not? And if not, after this end of July date of 25th, there was a 30-day window where landlords had to give a notice to their tenants before they could evict them, which means that August 24th is the big day. If there is no extension on the eviction ban, starting August 24th, you're gonna see a lot of people start to be removed from the properties. Now, what does that mean for you as an investor? So let's say you have 10, 20, 30 houses. Let's say you just have 5. Let's say you have 50. Start thinking about what you're gonna do with your business going forward. Do you want to operate lean and mean in a tough market? No, you need to start thinking about how to operate and be a little bit more cash protected. So I need you to start thinking cash, how to bring in cash. Now you're thinking, okay, well, I've got 15 rental properties. I'm about to take these properties back. I need to put cash into them. I have no money in cash reserves because I was scaling my portfolio so quick. I didn't expect to get caught with my pants down, which I know a lot of you guys are in this spot right now. So you don't even have the money to fix your properties up. So what are you gonna do? How are you going to get your properties back stabilized, get cash flow coming in, and not have to spend a bunch of money to do so? Now, and also save up a bunch of cash in your pocket. Now, think cash. How are you gonna get cash? Let's use a $100,000 property, for example. You should be owner financing some of these properties, if not all these properties, as you take them back. That is personally what I think a lot of people should be doing and taking a big down payment, right? So the reason why is a lot of people are gonna get foreclosed on, they're gonna get evicted, their credit's shot, they can't go buy a new house with the traditional process, and they're probably not gonna get another place to take them as a tenant. Now, what does that mean? A lot of these people that are about to get foreclosed on, when they realize they were gonna get foreclosed on, are sitting there stacking cash. They're not making their payments. This is something gonna be opposite side of what a lot of people are thinking about. There's gonna be a lot of people with $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 cash saved up because the world's in a panic, and a lot of these people have not been making their payments. And when they don't make their payments, they save cash. A lot of the old school investors that lived through the last crash will tell you that the creative financing investors saw a lot of buyers coming in with huge down payments because they chose to pocket the money instead of make the payment because they're trying to prepare for what they're gonna do once they get kicked out of the current house you're in. Now, that being said, you need to vet these individuals, right? And the safer position to be in for you is the bigger the down payment. Now they're gonna have a lot of money. So I wouldn't say take 10% down. I'd be trying to get 15, 20% down. A lot of people are gonna say that's not possible. Well, let's see what plays out. Because I know for a lot of my mentors, this is exactly what they did. They were taking 15 to 20% down on properties because the banks wouldn't finance them and they had to take the risk. So think about it, if you have 10 houses, what I want you to also understand is you can owner finance these as is. People are not gonna be as picky because they're just needing a place to go, right? So don't go over rehab these houses, don't go put them to the nines. You're not gonna be competing with as many people as we were in this hot market. You're just gonna be competing with a few. So as is or light rehab. So what that means is instead of trying to rent the property again and putting cash into it and getting sunk into it, you're not putting hardly any money into it, but you're getting money out of it, right? So I would take as big a down payment as possible to protect yourself in this situation. Let's say you took 10 houses and you took $15,000 down a piece. You just picked up $150K cash in the pocket, right? So now you have cash to run your business and protect yourself against other vacancy loss and other missed payments. And you can also go and potentially buy new properties as well, because now you have money yourself. Because it's not just gonna be owner financing is gonna pick up on you to a potential buyer. More homeowners are gonna get stuck going forward, and they're gonna have to sell their house to investors, and they're gonna be the ones carrying back financing, owner financing it to you. Now, the main thing I want you guys to look at here real quick is you need to study your area. I would look to find out how long it takes for the foreclosure process and the expense to do it, and also the eviction process. Because if you have a huge gap, let's say you can evict someone in 60 days, it's gonna take a year to foreclose on somebody, you may not wanna do this. If you have very stringent, tough foreclosure laws in your market, this is probably something that you may not want to do. So I'd be looking at cost of repair on these properties as they come back, because you may want to keep some as a rental. I'm not saying owner finance them all, because there is a risk with owner financing. It's not really a risk as far as you would think is a risk, but there is a risk for time, meaning replacing the property. They could sell the property, they could cash out refi you, and obviously they could default. But the other ones basically mean you lose the property, meaning you have to go replace the property. When you rent it, you can never lose the inventory. You can always, as long as you're making payments. Does that make sense? So I would research the relationship between how much it's gonna take to fix the property up and get it stabilized. Also, the difference between foreclosure and eviction time period and the expense to do this. And then if you want to buy more properties, here's just an idea of some of the lists that you should start thinking about going after. I know that the absentee owner list is a very common list that a lot of people pitch in their courses and guru courses. Most people market to it one time and stop because it's a big list. Excuse me. And since the market's been so hot, there hasn't been that many people really selling properties at a discount with absentee owner lists. Part of the reason why, if you guys have been through these courses and these people ripping off other people's courses, has been a cyclical pattern of people taking information back from the last correction that happened in 08-11 when the absentee owner list was massive, and a lot of people did buy a lot of deals from this, but they've been passing on this information, and you guys all know that it's very hard to build a successful business marketing to this list. But now, think about these out-of-state properties. Think about right now, if you inherited a property, probate, or you have properties that you already had that you inherited a while ago because for some reason one of your family members passed away, and this property has deferred maintenance. You know what's going on with the crazy world that we're in. The future's uncertain. A lot of people are scared, and they're just gonna start dumping these properties. So I'd be marketing to out-of-state owners that are having probate properties and evictions. This is something that you should think about. Also, a lot of people that were forced landlords, meaning they had a house, they moved out for some reason 7-8 years ago, and they've just been renting their old house because they want to get their new house. They've been renting it. A lot of these people were forced into a position where they couldn't sell the house then, but now the house has equity now, or they don't want it for some reason. And a lot of these people are gonna say, I don't wanna deal with this headache, and you should start looking for local landlords. And a lot of people don't market to LLC properties because they say, well, that's a company, they must have some level of sophistication. Clearly, you don't know a lot of the companies doing business in your marketplace. A lot of times these people have very low education on what they're doing, and they're in a desperate situation right now where they don't even want the problem that they have, essentially, is that's what it is for them, and they're gonna start trying to get rid of that problem quickly. And I think that this is a good focus to put some of your dollars, at least experiment with your marketing to see the type of return that you're gonna get. But that's kind of what I want to point out, guys, is I would think about not taking your rental properties and keeping them as rental properties. I'd say avoid all the extra money that you're gonna dump in these 10 properties. Let's say that you're gonna drop 10 grand, 5 grand. Just be conservative, say 5 grand. Just you're gonna paint it and put carpet in it, right? 10 by 5, that's $50,000 expense out of your pocket that you're gonna put back in these properties, whereas you could owner finance them at 15K down a piece, bring back in 150K, avoid the 50 grand expense on the front end. Now you got an extra 200 grand in your pocket, if you think about it that way, give or take a little bit. And then you're in a lot better situation, right? You have cash in the pocket, still cash flow coming in, and I think this is where a lot of people should be thinking about taking their business going forward. I'm gonna put some other more in-detail videos out here in the future on this, but guys, if you liked the video, thumbs up, appreciate it if you do. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, guys. I'd appreciate it if you do it. I see that about A lot of you guys watching these videos are not subscribed. I know you guys have been watching this for a long time, so if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, guys. Appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one.